Welcome to this exciting journey into the world of creative writing, young future authors. Today, as part of the Becoming an Author series, this lecture will explore Lecture 6, Characters, Dynamic and Simple, Leads and Supports, a way to demonstrate how different character types, different kinds of characters in a story, such as heroes or assistants, shape narratives. Have you ever noticed how some characters, like the bold leaders in adventure tales or the humorous sidekicks in classic stories, stand out in unique ways? Not all characters are alike, and this session will explain how to use major characters, also called leads, and minor characters, also called supports, round characters, also called dynamic, and flat characters, also called simple, to craft compelling stories. Inspiration is drawn from the world around and blended with imagination to bring characters to life. This lecture will describe how these character types interact, provide examples with excerpts from famous classic books available for free, and offer tips to try. By the end, creative ideas will be available to enhance storytelling. Let's dive in and explore the art of character creation together. Have you ever written a story featuring a character who resembles a bold adventurer or a loyal companion? That's because no character emerges from nothing. Ideas are drawn from observations of the world and combined with imagination through character creation, the process of inventing fictional characters, made-up people or creatures in stories, such as a superhero or a talking animal. As young future authors in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, this skill can be mastered. Characters can reflect the settings and actions envisioned, turning ideas into narratives with heroes, allies, and imaginative beings. Guidance will be provided on how characters vary and function in stories, with assistance from famous authors and excerpts from classic literature, emphasizing that all characters have the potential for a rich inner life, adding depth to the fictional world, as every character could have a story of their own if viewed from a different angle. Not all character types hold the same significance. Some play larger roles than others, much like key figures in a grand tale. There are major characters, or leads, the central figures in a story, like the hero, who receive the most focus and drive the plot development, the progression of a story's events, and minor characters, supports, supporting figures who contribute to the story but do not lead it, akin to background participants. Some narratives center on a single major character, while others feature a multitude of characters, as seen in George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire, where a 30-page list tracks the numerous knights, warriors, and mystical creatures across vast, wind-swept landscapes. Different stories require varied character types, and it will be demonstrated how they collaborate to enrich a narrative, noting that a plot is merely one perspective, with the potential to shift focus to any character, enhancing the story's richness and suggesting that even minor roles could take center stage in an alternate tale. Consider an example from Jane Austen, an English writer known for witty tales, who crafted Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice. She is a major character, or lead, intelligent, articulate, and devoted to her family. Her character description is minimal, but a single sentence reveals her wit. I wonder who first discovered the power of poetry in driving away love. This highlights her sharp mind, suggesting her character purpose. The goal or need a character pursues within the story is to find companionship and assert her independence. In contrast, Arthur Conan Doyle, an English writer of detective stories, introduces Sherlock Holmes in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes with a detailed character description. Holmes leaned back in his chair, his sharp eyes gleaming, his pipe steady in hand. This concise excerpt emphasizes his distinctive appearance, indicating his narrative function, the specific role a character plays in advancing the story, as a brilliant investigator, with his character purpose to solve mysteries. Characters can also be round characters, or dynamic, or flat characters, or simple, a concept outlined by E.M. Forster in aspects of the novel. Tom Sawyer from Mark Twain's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer exemplifies a round character. A paragraph illustrates Tom Sawyer perched on the fence, his eyes twinkling with mischief, convincing his friends to whitewash for him as the sun beat down, the sound of laughter mingling with the brushstrokes, a gentle breeze rustling the leaves, and the distant bark of a dog adding to the scene. This shows his cleverness and growth. With his character complexity, the depth and variety of a character's emotions or traits, allowing him to surprise by turning work into play, a decision that feels both unexpected and fitting. Conversely, Uriah Heep from Charles Dickens' David Copperfield is a flat character. Uriah Heep slithered forward, his oily smile gleaming. "I am very humble," his hands clasped tightly. This single sentence captures his sly nature, with his narrative function to create suspicion, staying simple yet distinct. Charles Dickens, an English writer of expansive narratives, populated Oliver Twist with flat characters like Bill Sikes. Bill Sikes loomed in the doorway, his heavy boots thudding on the floor, a snarl on his lips as he snatched a loaf of bread, his scarred hands trembling with anger, the room darkening with his shadow. The sound of a creaking door behind him, and the faint scent of stale bread lingering. This excerpt highlights his character conflict, a challenge or struggle a character encounters, propelling the plot development, though he remains unchanging, fulfilling his narrative function to introduce peril. Sherlock Holmes from Arthur Conan Doyle's tales remains a flat character. A sentence states, Holmes adjusted his deerstalker hat, his pipe emitting a faint smoke, declaring, "The game is afoot," with a sharp nod. This underscores his brilliance with detailed character description, his hat, pipe, and confident tone, showing character complexity can reside in flatness, his character purpose to excel remaining constant. Round characters offer convincing surprises, such as Jo March from Louisa May Alcott's Little Women. A paragraph reveals, Jo March paced the room, her eyes alight with determination, scribbling stories as the fire crackled, her voice rising, "I'll be a writer." The wind howled outside, papers fluttering on the desk, a soft knock at the door, and the warm glow of the hearth filling the space with a cozy light. This excerpt showcases her character psychology, the inner thoughts and feelings that motivate a character's actions, and character conflict, fostering her character development, the process by which a character grows or changes into a layered figure. In contrast, the baker from the Brothers Grimm's The Elves and the Shoemaker is flat. The baker kneaded dough, his gruff voice muttering, "Work must be done," the kitchen warm with yeast and the sound of a rolling pin echoing. This sentence reflects his narrative function to provide support, proving flat characters can be essential despite lacking change. Kenneth Grahame, an English writer of nature tales, crafted Mole in The Wind in the Willows as a round character. A paragraph illustrates, Mole emerged from his burrow, his eyes bright with curiosity, sniffing the fresh air as he ventured toward the river, the rustle of reeds guiding his steps, the water glimmering in the sunlight, and a frog croaking in the distance with a soft splash. This shows his character development and character complexity, with his journey revealing new traits. A minor character like the Old Sailor from Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island appears briefly. The old sailor stumbled in, his coat ragged, muttering, "Pieces of 8," the tavern floor creaking, the smell of salt air wafting in. Adding specific details, such as a weathered old sailor with a patched coat, enhances his potential role, contributing to the plot development, with the suggestion to add texture to minor roles to suggest a richer world. In Star Trek, major characters like Kirk lead with authority, while minor characters, the red shirts, fulfill a narrative function to indicate risk, exiting swiftly with a brief line like, "I'll check ahead." In The Adventures of Tom Sawyer is a major character with a character purpose to outsmart others, while his friends are minor characters with a fleeting narrative function to assist, then fade. A Song of Ice and Fire employs numerous character types, outlining major characters succinctly, yet minor characters possess stakes, adding depth with the world's vastness as a draw, and even humorous types like a clumsy explorer saying, "Oops, my map's upside down," can serve as flat characters. All characters have a character purpose, even flat characters with a singular aim, like a rival seeking victory. Round characters encounter character conflict, internal struggles, shaping their character psychology and character circumstances, influencing plot development. Characters are created considering their narrative function, ensuring major characters receive detailed character description and character development, while minor characters provide support. A minor character like Melody in a story may evolve into a round figure, demonstrating character creation's flexibility, as an initial unnamed role expanded into a named character with a distinct fate, reflecting the idea that all characters have potential to step forward. Even minor characters hold potential. All characters can have an inner life as rich as major characters, adding richness to the fictional world where a different story might emerge from another's view, such as a spear carrier becoming a hero. In Oscar Wilde's The Selfish Giant, the giant transforms from selfish to kind. The giant stood in his garden, his voice softening, let the children play, the flowers blooming around him, the sun warming the earth, and a gentle hum of bees in the air. This paragraph reveals his character development and character conflict. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis features diverse character types. Lucy stepped forward, her eyes bright with hope, while Mr. Tumnus hesitated. I mustn't lead you astray, the snow crunching beneath them, a lantern casting a warm glow over the icy path, and the scent of pine lingering. This shows their character circumstances, adding depth. Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol introduces a minor character. The portly gentleman entered, his coat dusted with snow, offering, "A Merry Christmas, sir," the fire crackling in the hearth, the room aglow with warmth, and the scent of pine filling the air with a festive note. This sentence, with added details, suggests potential beyond a brief role. Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island offers a minor character. The old sailor stumbled in, his coat ragged, muttering, "Pieces of 8, the tavern floor creaking, the smell of salt air wafting in, and the clink of coins in his pocket. This sentence, with added details, suggests potential beyond a brief role. Not all characters can be treated equally, or the story becomes a chaotic list, yet each should have enough detail to step up if needed, enhancing the narrative's depth. Writers express their views of human nature, broad and varied like Shakespeare's or focused like Hamlet's, through characters, shaping the story's tone, inviting reflection on personal perspectives about people. Enhance a minor character with a descriptive phrase, like a cheerful librarian with a jingling keychain, or a clumsy explorer with a torn map, to explore their potential, refining understanding of character creation, and consider how the character's purpose aligns with the story, perhaps imagining a new tale from their perspective. Characters vary as character types, with major characters leads and minor characters supports, round characters dynamic and flat characters simple, each with a narrative function. Practice the exercise and watch character development enhance stories young future authors. Next, we explore writing dialogue. Keep creating, stay curious, and let your imagination soar. Keep pencils sharp and minds open as you continue this amazing writing adventure.